Eric Mcalister says that Malcom Kelly is the reason why he did not entertain entering the NFL draft or the transfer portal. And Devin Deal is excited about the young edge rushers on this defense for 2025.
You are Locked On Horned Frogs, your daily podcast on the TCU Horned Frogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
That's right, Locked On Horned Frogs, your team every day. We're back to a 5-day week schedule. I'm Stephen Simcox. I've been covering TCU athletics for the past 12 years. We're brought to you today by Gametime. If you need tickets on the secondary market, check out the Gametime app today. Got an interview with Devin Deal from Big 12 Media Days. We'll also hear in segment 1 from Eric Mcalister, wide receiver. Super excited about Eric Mcalister and the year he has upcoming. I think it's always easy as fans and as media people to get hyped up about new guys. And I certainly want to see Jordan Dwyer do great things. But I do think it's easy to forget sometimes Mcalister was the prize of, the wide receiver room in the transfer portal the year before. Now, it was a good problem to have because of what Jack Bech did when he emerged as the outside wide receiver, because of who Savion Williams is and what he did, especially in the back half of the season. The opportunities were a little less than we thought for Eric. But when he got those chances, he stepped up and made plays. Big touchdown against Texas Tech. Big touchdown against Kansas. Had some big catches against Utah last season in a game where not a lot of points were scored. And anytime you could move down the field and even flip field position, that was a big deal because it was such a slobber knocker of a physical football game that night in Salt Lake City. Late in the year, started to step up his game as Jack Bech and Savion Williams were kind of banged up. And this season, stepping into that wide receiver one role, he is going to be the lead target for Josh Hoover. There's a lot of excitement around what this team can do. The receiving room is extremely important because, yes, we want to improve the run game. I think that's key number one for this offense. You also need these receivers in this passing game to be similar to what it was last season. And last season, it was really elite, especially once Josh Hoover stopped pressing so much and throwing those interceptions. Then you saw an offense that was able to move the ball through the air, really however and whenever they wanted to. So here's Eric Mcalister at Big 12 Media Days with me. And this was, towards the end of the day in the afternoon, talking about the offense and going into year 2 of playing in the system.
You're kind of integrated into a new system. Was it pretty seamless? What was that like getting used to, playing with new players and being in a new offensive system?
I mean, how college football is nowadays, it's a business, so you got to treat it as such. So I knew coming in I had to either be a weird type of transfer or come in and try to, assert my dominance and the type of player I am. So, it really wasn't that hard. I got along with a lot of players, came in. A lot of players took me in. I learned from a lot of players. So, it really wasn't too much of a difficult situation.
What do you like about the way Josh Hoover throws the ball or just plays the quarterback position?
I like it's his confidence. He thinks he can make any throw on the field, and I like a quarterback like that. So, if I think I'm covered and he thinks he can make a throw, I'm not covered. Because at the end of the day, if he thinks he can make it, he thinks he can give me an opportunity to catch it, I'm going to try my best to catch it. And if I catch it, I guess he so his confidence is something that I will stand behind no matter what. If he thinks that was a great throw, I think it's a great throw too. Even if he throws a pick, because if he's giving me a chance and he throws a pick, you know what I'm saying? The second that he's not giving me chances, the second I feel like he lost his trust in me. So that's what I like about Hoover, is the confidence he has in me.
You had some great touchdowns last year. You threw a Kansas guy down and had a catch and run late in that game. You had that catch against Texas Tech. Do you have a favorite moment from last season?
A lot of people think the big moments like that are my favorite moments, but my favorite moments are the games that I had 100 yards and, I was able to make a crazy impact. I know that Tech game was a game-stealing touchdown or game-winning touchdown, but I like the games where I'm able to make a long-lasting impact where it doesn't have to come down to a touchdown for us to win the game, So, but I say my favorite game was definitely that Kansas game. I went for, not only did I go for 100, but I had one of the last touchdown of the game to really put the game to bed. So, I'd say Kansas game.
Jordan Dwyer coming in from Idaho. What do you like about his game?
Jordan Dwyer, I'll say this right now. I've been a part of 3-4 spring balls. I've never seen as many go balls completed between outside receivers. And I think that's adding Manjack. I think that's adding Jordan Dwyer. Me on one side, Dozy, but Jordan, he's just a receiver that you can tell, when it comes to going to different schools, whether it's the Big 12, SEC, whatever, skill position is not going to change. You can either get open or you can't. He's one of those guys that can get open. So his skill set's going to transfer to the Big 12. That's how mine did. I came from the Mountain West, and I came to the Big 12. Everybody said he's not going to be able to do the same stuff. Not only did I do the same stuff, I did more. So I think he's going to do the exact same. Yeah, he's a great player. He's even better off to do it.
What's it like having a coach like Malcom Kelly as your position coach?
Yeah, that's probably he's probably the main reason why I stayed. Didn't declare last year or didn't transfer. He's definitely the reason why I came. He's a better coach. Like, he's a better person than he is coach. Like, even off the field stuff that has nothing to do with football, he's going to try his best to give you the best advice. And with football, he's going to try to coach live with football. But at the end of the day, you don't play football forever. So, but when it comes to coaching, Coach Kelly, he's a laid-back coach, but he needs to get on to you. He needs to really coach you. If he sees something, he's going to coach you hard. And thinking he's not coaching hard, then maybe you should go ask him what's wrong, because he probably doesn't want to do that.
That's Eric Mcalister at Big 12 Media Days at the Star in Frisco. A lot of interesting things there. The first thing that stood out to me was that last answer about Malcom Kelly. I wouldn't say, well, I guess I would say, I think when people are around for a while, even if you know they're great, like I think anybody who pays attention to TCU football and has for the past decade or so understands that Malcom Kelly is a really good coach. He's recruited at a high level. He's brought in great wide receivers. They've produced at a high level. He's put guys in the league. When Gary Patterson left, he was a holdover from that staff. And now we're in year 4 of the Sonny Dykes era, and he's still here. Like, there have been a couple of those guys that have moved on for various reasons. He's stayed. Oklahoma is his alma mater. They've had multiple opportunities to go get him. And I think they've made some advances to try to make that happen, and he has stayed. But it was interesting to me. I guess it makes sense that Eric Mcalister would consider, like, okay, what are my NFL draft prospects? He put up some big numbers last year. He was kind of the third option, but he still did some really good things on the football field. But also the honesty of saying, like, he's also the reason I didn't look into the transfer portal, because in the first answer he gave me, he talked about where college football is now. He was like, look, it's a business. Like, when I came here, I approached it as a business decision. I'm a football player. That's my job. Like, I'm trying to do it at a high level. And so at the end of the season, I'm not saying there was consideration, but that opportunity was at least there, where it's like, okay, I could go and see what my market value is and see what maybe somebody wants to offer me if I was available. But he didn't do that because of the personal relationship with Malcom Kelly. Notice he didn't say because of my NIL contract or because of what I was going to get in rev share, whatever. It was because he loves that dude, and that guy cares for him and has been there for him. It's the reason why he came to TCU, and so he wants to stay there. When I was talking to him about his favorite moment, he said, and I believe what he was referring to was that Tech game. He had that great touchdown catch in the Tech game that won them the game, but it was his only catch of the ball game. Now, it was an awesome moment to have, but he mentioned that he loves the games where he is involved from start to finish, right? Where he's putting out 100 yards, where he's making plays over the course of the game. And I think especially early in the season, with the exception of the SMU game where I believe he went over 100 yards, Eric wasn't as involved as he wanted to be. So this is his opportunity now this year to be that guy that from the first snap to the last snap, he's not going to play all of them, but he's going to be out there a lot, and he'll get his chances to make plays and make things happen. And that's what he wants to do. I would also assume that's what he's trying to show scouts at the next level this season. I don't know if he's gotten any feedback, probably not a lot, but just that ability to be consistent. He said Jordan Dwyer. Now, he also mentioned Manjack. He also mentioned Joseph Manjack. He also mentioned Doozy Ozakama. The go balls that were getting completed in spring practice. He said he's never seen so many in spring ball get completed. Now, some of you might hear that and some alarm bells go off about the secondary. Let's choose to be positive and say that this is good, a good sign regarding the offense. Jordan Dwyer's a speedster. Like, that's what he does. And he's going to be there on the outside, ready to make plays. Eric's got speed. He's also a big physical presence. If they're able to get a vertical game with Manjack and Ezekama too, then there's a ton of options for this offense to have game-breaking plays. And as good as the passing offense was last year, I do think the consistency, you're never going to be completely consistent in the vertical passing game. It's not, I mean, unless you just have the combination of elite quarterback, elite wide receiver, it's not a high percentage throw. Like, even if you've got dudes who can get open, you still have to get the timing down and everything. It's not as easy as completing short passes, right? But if there's more consistency there and they're able to get big plays, then that's a huge boost for this offense. So to hear those things about the wide receiver room, that's good news. He wants to be a more consistent presence within the offense this year. He'll have those opportunities. When we come back, Devin Deal says in year 2, this defense is ready to take the next step. We'll talk about it next year on Locked on Horned Frogs, your team every day. I love the Gametime app because it's just really easy to use. All-Star break coming up, but there's going to be plenty of games in the second half of the season. And I need to get up north of me to see the Rangers play before the summer's over. So to do that, I'm going to check out the Gametime app because, again, it's super simple. They show you a picture of what your view is going to be from your seat when you buy the tickets. There's no hidden fees. There's fees because there always are, but they tell you exactly what they are up front. So you don't get to the checkout and suddenly you're like, wait, why am I spending $100 more than I anticipated? That's not going to happen. Download the Gametime app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. The tickets go straight to your app. So you don't have to wonder, like, where did it go? Do I have to check my email? Do I go to my Apple Wallet? Like, where do I find this? There's no worries about that. They send it directly to your app. Download the Gametime app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions do apply. Last minute deals. I mean, up to the day of the event, you can find competitive pricing on the Gametime app. It's unique in that regard. Gametime. Download it today. I also had the chance to speak with Devin Deal at Big 12 Media Days. His brother Marcus also on the team. Devin, edge rusher, Marcus on the interior of that defensive line. Met Devin and Marcus's family. They're awesome. They are an athletic family. They got a younger brother and a younger sister who are both athletes as well. So, yeah, maybe in a few years we'll be talking about them. Hopefully at TCU or, we'll be watching them play somewhere else. But Devin transferred in last offseason from Tulane and was, I think, kind of an under-the-radar pickup, was super productive, though, for this team, was their best edge rusher all year long. He's ready to take the next step in year 2. So is the rest of this defense. Here's my conversation with him from Big 12 Media Days.
Here with Devin Deal at Big 12 Media Days. So I met your family. Who's the best athlete in the Deal family, Devin?
We all think we are. I'm going to say me, but yeah. Maybe Zoe. Zoe might be the sister.
Did you grow up on the D-line edge guy, or were you a skill guy? Did it depend on what you were doing?
I say it changed. Most of my life I played DN and running back. High school I played tight end, wide receiver, and DN. And I played running back my freshman year. But I've played a lot, yeah.
When you were transferring, aside from the family connection, what were some of the big factors in choosing TCU?
Definitely just the opportunity, the college football play. I knew that was what it was, and Big 12 gets an automatic bid, so I was like, we can go to TCU and win, get back there. They'd already proven it in 2022 that it's possible, and then it's an awesome school, awesome conference, all that.
Who are some of your favorite players or influences, whether it's NFL or the college level right now?
NFL, I like J.J. Watt, especially with my brother coming up in space, seeing what the Watt family's done, trying to do that with our own family, the Deal family, and then you said college-wise too?
Yes, sir.
College-wise, I had some good vets when I was at Tulane, Dorian and Tajay and Nick Anderson, all of them coming in. And I don't really look outside of that. Same here. I'm more of a vet now, so it's kind of hard for me to say I look up to somebody here. But, yeah, I had some good vets when I was at Tulane.
Year 2 in the system, do you feel like you guys are moving faster? Does it feel like it's coming together more in the spring and in the fall?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like year 2, last year we were installing at this point, learning the defense, first time we've seen it. by now we've seen it 3 or 4 times, whether it be spring, off-season, OTAs. So it's a lot more just knowing and going, which means that you can correct technique and things like that rather than actually just trying to get somebody to do the right thing on the play. Like, everybody knows what they're doing, so now we can get to the nuances and get better as a team.
You mentioned being a vet, so some of those young guys, Chad Woodfork, John Schobel, Jonathan Bax, who has kind of stood out to you, and what do they bring to that room as stud linebackers?
Yeah, I'd add Jared Martin to that mix, another freshman, but Jay Bax, I think he definitely took up a step. Coop leaving, it was me and Coop last year. Bax was the 3, and then he's been proving that he's been competing, pushing me to get better. Chad and John and them all getting a lot better throughout the spring, but definitely Jay Bax.
So that's Devin Deal at Big 12 Media Days. And the big thing that I've talked about, a few times as we've previewed this team the last few months, and he mentioned in that interview, just the simple fact that you're not going through install right now. Guys understand what they're doing. Now, with your freshmen, with some of your new players, yeah, you've got some of that going on. But the core of this defense are players that played last year. And so because of that, they can start to get more in the weeds and into the nuances, as he said, of this defense. Like, you can break down technique more. And, hey, how do we get the details right so that we're making more plays, because we don't have to worry so much about the basic, like, okay, what are we doing on this play? If the offense shifts into this formation or does this, how are we adjusting? A lot of that has been worked out so that now you can really get down to how do we get better as a defense. So the hope is that now you've got a defense that's playing faster, better, doing big things. I think Devin Deal is set up for a big year. Another exciting thing that he said in that conversation, Jonathan Bax taking a step forward. Cooper McDonald was there last year along with Devin Deal. Those were the two guys, and Jonathan got opportunities here and there, but he's going to get more of those chances this season. Sounds like he's ready for his opportunity. Marcel Brooks also no longer with the team. So not that Marcel got a ton of those reps, but he was another dude that they were fighting for time with. And then the young guys, Chad Woodfork, he mentioned Jared Martin, who I forgot about when I was naming those names or listing them off. John Schobel. If you get any production from your freshman, I think it's a big plus. I would love to see Chad Woodfork get some opportunities, just for the simple fact that he looks the part. And it's not always that simple. Like, there's growing pains. You got to learn your responsibilities. But I think he could fit kind of that Marcel Brooks role of, hey, if it's an obvious passing situation and there's not a lot of nuance or necessarily details that you have to think of in the moment, it's just like, hey, let's get somebody on the field who can be an extra pass rusher and get after the quarterback, who can make him uncomfortable, speed up the processing time. Then Chad Woodfork could potentially be that guy for you. And we'll see how it plays out. But the stud linebacker room and these corners, I mean, it's going to be everybody. However, I think pass rush and good secondary play go hand in hand, whether it's the edge guys or the interior defensive linemen. If you're able to rush the passer, it makes your secondary look a lot better. If you don't have to cover guys for 5, 6, 7 seconds, then suddenly maybe we're talking about Avery Helm and Elijah Jackson potentially being all-conference guys. I will say Elijah Jackson, from what Sonny Dykes said, sounded like he was dealing with an injury all offseason, so I don't know how available he'll be to start the year, but he's another veteran presence as a corner. And I know Devin said, I think in a press conference earlier this offseason, that Marcus used to play running back. He played some running back as well. So, hey, Kendall Briles, ball's in your court, man. Like, let's get the Deal brothers a touchdown this year. Down near the goal line. We struggled in short yardage situations last season. Maybe this is the key. Let those guys tote the rock. Let them have a handoff and get that opportunity to play. But fun to talk to him. Yeah, a big chance for Sonny Dykes has never really had, like, the Joe Gillespie defense. I think this first year they were opportunistic and they made plays when they needed to. But they've never really had like a top 40, top 30 type of defense during his time at TCU. And I think even going back to his SMU days, that wasn't necessarily his MO. Good chance for them to reset that moving forward. When we come back, just kind of some assorted notes from a couple sports that are in off season and one football recruiting note. That's all coming up here on Locked on Horned Frogs. It's your team. We do it here every day. So on Sunday afternoon, there was some news that came down that supposedly TJ Ward Jr. had committed to TCU. He is a 3-star running back recruit. And he's got a good offer list. He plays his football at a private school in Nashville. He's been offered by Auburn, Boston College, Bowling Green, Eastern Kentucky. Again, a 3-star prospect. But I saw Frogs Award tweeted out. I think there's a guy named TCU Media, or he goes by TCU Media on Instagram. He had put out a post about it. I did see, though, that Jeremy Clark on Twitter came out and said that that wasn't true from what he was hearing. He was hearing that they weren't actively recruiting him. And I always trust Jeremy on recruiting things when it comes to TCU. So I'm not sure what the mix-up was. I know TCU already has 2 running backs in this class. So maybe they were recruiting TJ Ward like before they got Giovanni Graham and Amonte Martin committed. And then once those guys committed for 2026, it was like, well, we don't really have room anymore. And things changed. But I mean, I feel bad for him. He publicly announced this. Obviously, he thought that he had the opportunity to come play here. Maybe they'll get it worked out, but it doesn't sound like he's actually going to be part of the team, at least for now. So if you saw that news yesterday and you're confused, from what we can tell, he's not actually committed, but maybe they'll reconvene at a later date as this recruiting cycle continues. I wanted to talk about Trevor Baumler, who was a freshman pitcher for TCU last year. He's playing in the Cape Cod League right now. So a lot of these college baseball players, they play in these different summer leagues. Cape Cod's one of the most popular ones. He was named a Cape Cod All-Star. He's going to be the starting pitcher for the West team in the All-Star game. He's pitched 19.2 innings, has 18 Ks, a .920 ERA. Batters are hitting 154 against him so far this season. So that's really good. Like, very encouraging signs from Trevor Baumler in Cape Cod. They're going to need him to step up, whether it's in the bullpen, but if it's in the bullpen, that's okay. Ideally, they need him as a starter. Like, you got to have somebody to match up with Tommy Lepore and be that second starter for this team going into the season. Also, you got a lot of basketball players playing international ball right now. So Olivia Miles, she was competing for Team USA. They won a gold medal. I forget the name of the tournament, but she had a really good tournament, especially passing the ball. She's a playmaker, man. Like, that's the thing that stands out when you watch her. Just a very gifted passer and somebody who's going to make easy opportunities for all these players. Clara Silva, who is a TCU women's basketball player. She transferred in from Kentucky after her freshman year at Kentucky. She's 6'8". She's playing for Team Portugal, and they were playing against China yesterday in a under-19 world tournament. She had 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks, and was just awesome in that ball game. So a big-time presence inside. She's different than Sedona Prince. From what I can tell watching her, I don't think she has the range Sedona does. Like, she's not going to step out and hit a bunch of mid-range jump shots. But especially in the highlights from that game I was talking about, a lot of patience in the post, a good ability to, catch the ball, work down there, use her size, use, angles to find openings, get shots off. So, we'll see where she lands. Probably going to be the starting center, splitting time with Kendi Basham, another transfer from Arizona State. But some encouraging signs from her international play. And then also Clara Bielefeld from Germany, who is a true freshman. She was fantastic for Germany in their international tournament this offseason. And she's a guard. So, again, with Olivia Miles being the point guard, I don't know how much playing time she'll get initially, but some good signs for TCU women's basketball, given how their stars performed during international play this offseason. We'll be back tomorrow. It's Locked On Horned Frogs, your team every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel.